A man calmly sat on seat 18E, wearing a suit, sunglasses, and holding a briefcase. He wasn't nervous, he wasn't loud, he just smiled and handed a note to the air hostess. She thought he was flirting. She smiled back and walked away. But then he leaned closer. "Miss, you better read that note." It read, "I have a bomb, and this plane is now under my control. Let's uncover the mystery of DB Cooper." November 24th, 1971, 1:30 p.m., Portland, Oregon, United States. A city wrapped in mist and cold autumn shadows. The sky was grey. A small airplane, Northwest Orient Airlines, Flight 305, was ready to depart. Only 36 passengers and 6 crew members would board that plane. None of them could imagine what awaited them. Among the silent crowd was a man, calm, collected, dressed like any other businessman. But beneath that ordinary facade, something dark was about to unfold. The flight took off smoothly, cutting through the cold November sky. For nearly 20 minutes, nothing unusual happened. Passengers chatted quietly, unaware of the storm about to break. At exactly 2:24 p.m., DB Cooper made his move. He stood up and calmly approached the air hostess, Tina Mucklow. With a polite smile, he handed her a small note. Tina, thinking it was just a flirtatious gesture, smiled back and slipped the note into her pocket. But Cooper leaned closer and quietly said, "Miss, you better read that note." Nervously, Tina unfolded the paper and read the chilling message. "I have a bomb in my briefcase, and I have hijacked this plane." At 2:24 p.m., Cooper calmly told Tina, "I have hijacked this plane." Tina became afraid, but she controlled her fear. Gathering courage, she asked Cooper to show the bomb. Cooper opened his briefcase, revealing red cylinders, wires, and a large battery. Unmistakably, a bomb. With trembling hands, but a steady voice, Tina quietly left to alert another flight attendant, Florence Schaffner, and together they informed the pilots. The pilot immediately contacted air traffic control, reporting the hijacking.
"There's a man, he's sitting in the back, and he has a bomb."
Meanwhile, the other passengers remained completely unaware of what was happening. The crew kept the terrifying situation a secret to avoid panic, but overheard this and warned firmly, "Do exactly as I say, or I will detonate this bomb and bring down this plane." His demands were clear and chilling: $200,000 in cash by 5 p.m. that very evening, 4 parachutes, 2 main, 2 backups, a fuel truck ready on the ground to refuel immediately after landing. The airline's president, Donald Nyrobe, faced a tough decision. To protect his company's reputation and avoid panic, he chose to fully cooperate with Cooper's demands. The pilots kept the plane circling silently above Seattle, while they arranged the ransom money on the ground. Over the loudspeakers, the pilots told the passengers they were experiencing technical difficulties, a delay that would stretch on for hours. Passengers waited in confusion, unaware of the real danger aboard their flight. Finally, at 5:46 p.m., the plane landed, far from the main terminal, where Cooper's demands were met. A bag containing $200,000 in cash and 4 parachutes was delivered to the plane. Cooper allowed all the passengers and most of the crew to leave, except for the brave flight attendant, Tina Mucklow, with the ransom in hand and the plane refueled. Cooper prepared for the next phase of his plan. Cooper's next moves were calculated. He ordered Tina and the pilots into the cockpit and locked the door behind them. For the crew inside, it was a moment of helpless silence, trapped and powerless to see what Cooper was about to do. Outside, Cooper calmly unpacked the parachutes, carefully checking each strap and buckle. His composure was eerie. Cooper then instructed the pilots on the flight path, speed, and altitude. He demanded they fly at a low altitude of 10,000 feet at the slowest possible speed, about 120 miles per hour, with the plane's wings tilted at a precise angle of 15 degrees. The pilots warned him this made the plane difficult to control and risked running out of fuel before reaching the intended destination, Mexico City. But Cooper was resolute. He insisted on his plan. Then, in a moment that would become one of the greatest aviation mysteries, Cooper moved to the rear of the plane. The Boeing 727 had a unique feature, a rear staircase that could be lowered mid-flight. Cooper deployed the stairs, grabbed his parachutes, and jumped into the dark November sky, disappearing into the unknown. Locked inside the cockpit, Tina and the pilots could only watch. Minutes later, the cockpit's warning light flashed, signaling the rear stairs had been lowered, and the plane's balance was affected. The pilots quickly stabilized the aircraft and flew to the nearest airport in Reno, Nevada. But Cooper was gone, vanished without a trace. What happened to him after that leap? Did he survive? The FBI was already waiting. Agents swarmed the aircraft, searching every inch for clues. But Cooper had vanished. No trace of the ransom, no parachute, nobody. All they found were a few strange things. A black clip-on tie left on seat 18E, a mother-of-pearl tie, a few cigarette butts, torn strips from one of the parachutes. Forensics found 66 unidentified fingerprints aboard the aircraft. None matched any of the passengers or crew, but the briefcase, the bomb, and Cooper himself were gone. The FBI launched one of the largest manhunts in US history. Every possible theory was explored, but nothing. In 2016, the FBI officially closed the case, the only unsolved hijacking in American history. Even today, over 50 years later, no one knows the truth. Who was D.B. Cooper? Did he survive the jump? A hijacking case that has remained unsolved for over 50 years and still confuses the FBI.